The monitoring station hung in the darkness of the outer rim, its sensors sweeping the empty space between star systems. Commander watched the displays with 4 of his compound eyes while the other 2 monitored his crew. His body clicked softly as he moved between stations. Nothing ever happened out here. That was why they called it the Quiet Zone. "Commander, I have something strange," Science Officer L said. The reptilian officer's scales shifted from blue to yellow, a sign of confusion in his species. "Move to the science station. What is it?" "A vessel, very large, but the energy signature does not match anything in our database." The commander studied the readings. The vessel was massive, comparable to a council dreadnought, but the power output made no sense. It was generating more energy than it should need for basic operation. The design was completely unknown. "Try to hail them. Use all standard frequencies." L worked the communications panel. Minutes passed. "No response, Commander. They either cannot hear us or choose not to answer." Felt his antenna twitch with concern. An unknown vessel of this size appearing in council space was unprecedented. In 300 years, every species in the galaxy had been catalogued and contacted. There should be no surprises left. "Send an emergency message to council headquarters. We have a situation here." Far away on the council, the message created chaos. High Chancellor called an emergency session. Representatives from 47 species gathered in the Grand Chamber, their voices creating a din of concern and speculation. "Order," commanded. His voice carried authority earned over 50 years of leadership. "We face an unusual situation. An unidentified vessel of significant size has entered our space. We must decide how to respond." The chamber erupted again. Some representatives demanded military action, others called for caution. A few suggested it might be a derelict ship, abandoned and drifting. Military Coordinator stood. His armored body gleamed under the chamber lights. "I recommend we send a contact fleet, 1 diplomatic vessel escorted by 3 patrol cruisers. Standard first contact protocol." "And if they prove hostile?" someone shouted from the back. 3 cruisers can handle any single vessel," replied, "even one that large." Ambassador volunteered to lead the mission. He was experienced, having made contact with the last 2 species to join the council. His species, were known for their diplomatic skills and calm demeanor. "Go with wisdom, Ambassador," said. "The galaxy watches." Aboard the unknown vessel, Captain Daniel Hayes stood on the bridge of the UHS Valiant. He was a tall man, broad-shouldered, with gray touching his dark hair. 20 years in Earth's Navy had given him the bearing of someone comfortable with command. "Navigation, where are we?" he asked. Mitchell looked up from her console. She was young for a navigation officer, but Hayes trusted her skills. "We have crossed into what appears to be controlled space, Captain. I am detecting multiple energy sources consistent with inhabited systems." "Any response to our probe signals?" "Nothing yet, sir." Brandon Cole, the weapons officer, turned from his station. "Captain, I have 4 vessels approaching our position. Configuration unknown, but they are definitely military." Hayes nodded. "Stand down weapons, keep shields at ready status, full stop, let them come to us." The bridge crew worked quietly, efficiently. They had trained for this moment for months. The Valiant was humanity's first vessel designed for deep space exploration beyond the Sol expansion zone. They knew they might encounter other intelligent species. The galaxy was too large to be empty. "They are hailing us, Captain," the communications officer reported. "Multiple frequencies, none of them standard." "Run it through the translation matrix. Let the AI work on it." Alexandria, the ship's artificial intelligence, processed the incoming signals. Within seconds, she had identified patterns and begun constructing a translation protocol. The speed would have shocked the aliens sending the message. "I have it, Captain," Alexandria said through the speakers. "Audio is ready." "Put it through." A voice filled the bridge, speaking in what sounded like a melodic, flowing language. The translation appeared on the main screen. "Unknown vessel, this is Ambassador of the Galactic Council. Please identify yourself and state your purpose." Hayes smiled. First contact. This was the moment humanity had dreamed about since the first satellite reached orbit. "Open a channel, same frequency." "Channel open, sir." Ambassador, this is Captain Daniel Hayes of the United Human Ship Valiant, representing Earth and its people. We come in peace, seeking knowledge and friendship. On his ship felt his pulse quicken. Humans, a species with no records, no history in the galactic database. How was this possible? Captain Hayes, we welcome you to Council Space. Your vessel is unknown to us. How is it you speak galactic standard? Hayes glanced at his crew. They had picked up the language in minutes from the alien transmissions. Should he explain about Alexandria, about human computer technology? Better to keep some things private for now. We are quick learners, Ambassador. We detected your transmissions and adapted. We mean no intrusion into your space. We are explorers seeking to understand the universe beyond our home. Exchanged glances with his second officer. A species that could decode galactic standard from raw transmissions in minutes. That suggested an advanced technological base. Captain Hayes, I request permission to come aboard your vessel. A formal meeting would benefit both our peoples. Hayes considered. Standard first contact protocol called for caution. But they had come out here to meet other species, not hide from them. Permission granted, Ambassador. We will prepare a docking port for your shuttle. I look forward to meeting you in person. As do I, Captain. We will arrive within the hour. The channel closed. Hayes turned to his crew. All right, people, this is what we trained for. Prepare the port-side docking bay. Security team, standard precautions but friendly demeanor. Science team, I want full scans of their vessels but passive only. No active probes, let us not appear threatening. Yes, sir, came the chorus of replies. Hayes walked to the main viewport and looked out at the 4 alien ships approaching. They were sleek, elegant designs, beautiful in their own way, but small, much smaller than the Valiant, and their power signatures suggested technology that, while advanced, was not beyond human understanding. He wondered what they would think when they saw the Valiant up close, when they understood what humanity had built. Earth had spent 2 centuries preparing for this moment, building ships that could carry human civilization to the stars, ships that could protect humanity from unknown threats. The Valiant was the result of that effort, a battlecruiser designed for exploration but equipped for war. Hayes hoped the war part would never be necessary, but he had not spent 20 years in the Navy without learning that hope alone was not enough. Ambassador stepped off the shuttle and immediately felt wrong. The gravity was too strong. His legs protested as he walked down the ramp. His security team behind him moved carefully, their bodies struggling with the unexpected weight. Captain Hayes waited at the bottom of the ramp with several crew members, studied the humans with interest. They stood easily in this crushing gravity as if it were nothing. They were shorter than most council species, but built solid, with thick muscles visible even through their uniforms. Welcome aboard the Valiant, Ambassador, Hayes said, extending his hand. Had studied the gesture during the flight over, a human greeting symbolizing peace and trust. He reached out and grasped the captain's hand. The strength in that grip surprised him. Hayes was being gentle but could feel the power there. Thank you for receiving us, Captain. Your vessel is impressive. Hayes smiled. Would you like a tour? I can show you our facilities and perhaps answer some questions. That would be most welcome. As they walked through the corridors, noticed everything. The walls were thick, reinforced. The doors were heavy blast doors, not the light panels used on council ships. Every design choice suggested a vessel built for durability and strength. The human crew members they passed moved with a casual confidence that troubled. They walked quickly in this high gravity, their movements precise and controlled. Some nodded to the captain. Others smiled at the alien visitors. All of them looked alert, aware, ready. Your gravity is higher than council standard, observed. Yes, Earth has stronger gravity than most worlds we have found, 1.4 times what you consider normal. We can adjust it in the guest quarters if you like. 1.4 times, felt his concern growing. Earth was a high-gravity world. That explained the humans' build, their strength. Species from such worlds were rare. Most high-gravity planets were too harsh for complex life to develop. They entered the observation deck. The view outside showed the alien vessels clearly. Could see his own ship, dwarfed by the Valiant's massive hull. Your ship is larger than our standard cruisers, said carefully. May I ask its classification? The Valiant is a battlecruiser, designed for long-range exploration and research. We built her to carry a crew of 500 on missions lasting years if necessary. And the weapons I see on her hull. Hayes did not hesitate. Space is dangerous, Ambassador. We explore peacefully, but we prepare for any situation. The Valiant carries defensive and offensive systems appropriate to her role. Noted the careful language, defensive and offensive systems, not weapons. Hayes was being diplomatic. Would you like to see our engineering section? Hayes asked. I think you would find it interesting. Engineering Chief Campbell met them in the reactor room. He was a big man with grease on his hands and a friendly smile. He clearly loved his work. This is our primary reactor, Campbell explained, gesturing to the massive structure before them. Fusion antimatter hybrid design, clean, efficient, and powerful. Science officer who had come along on the tour pulled out a scanner. His eyes widened as he read the display. Ambassador, the power output is enormous. This single reactor produces more energy than our entire fleet combined. Campbell grinned. Well, we need a lot of power. The Valiant has extensive systems. Life support for 500 people, weapons, shields, sensors, and our AI requires significant processing power. AI asked sharply. Alexandria, our ship's artificial intelligence. She helps us manage the complex systems. Would you like to meet her? A female voice spoke from the air around them. Good afternoon, Ambassador. I am Alexandria. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. Felt cold despite the warm air. Artificial intelligence was banned by council law. The ancient machine wars had taught that lesson well. Yet these humans spoke of their AI as if she were a crew member, trusted and valued. You are not concerned about AI rebellion? He asked quietly. Hayes shook his head. Alexandria is not a slave or a servant. She is a member of our crew with rights and responsibilities. We built her to be part of our community, not to control or be controlled. It makes a difference. They continued the tour. The medical bay featured equipment did not recognize. The mess hall offered food so rich in nutrients that his team could barely eat it. The gym had equipment designed for gravity training up to 3 times Earth normal. Then they passed a tactical station. Spencer stood there running system checks. She looked up and smiled at the visitors. Hello, Captain. Just finishing the diagnostics on the rail batteries. Carry on, Lieutenant, Hayes said. Stopped rail batteries. Spencer glanced at Hayes, who nodded. Yes, sir. We have 12 batteries positioned around the hull. They fire solid projectiles at extremely high velocity, very effective against most targets. And other weapons? Asked, his voice strained. Plasma lance arrays for medium-range engagement, missile pods for long-range, point defense lasers for incoming projectiles, standard for a ship of this class. The security chief pulled him aside. Ambassador, those are military-grade systems, not defensive weapons, offensive weapons designed for ship-to-ship combat. Knew he had seen enough. This was not a simple exploration vessel. The Valiant was a warship built by a species that understood conflict and prepared for it. They ate lunch in the mess hall. The humans were friendly, asking questions about council space and sharing stories about Earth. Learned about Earth's diverse environment, its many nations united under one government, its history of cooperation and conflict. We had wars, Hayes admitted. Many wars over thousands of years. We learned hard lessons about violence and peace. When we finally unified, we promised ourselves we would explore the stars as friends to any we met. But we also promised we would never be weak again, never be unprepared. Your ship represents preparation, said. But for what? What do you fear in the darkness? Hayes looked out the viewport at the stars. We fear nothing, Ambassador, but we respect everything. The universe is vast and unknown. We come in peace, but we will not be victims. We will not watch innocents suffer if we have the power to help. That is who we are. The tour ended, and his team returned to their shuttle. As they flew back to their ship, called an emergency meeting with his officers. Report your observations, he ordered. The science officer spoke first. Their technology is advanced. The reactor alone represents a leap beyond our current capabilities. Their computer systems are decades ahead of ours, and their AI is functional, stable, and integrated into their operations. Added his assessment. Their crew is trained for combat. Every human I saw moved like a soldier. The ship is a fortress. Those weapons could destroy our entire escort fleet in minutes. Nodded slowly, and they claim to be peaceful explorers. I believe they are, his second officer said. But they are also warriors. Their entire species evolved on a death world and survived by becoming strong. They build peace on a foundation of strength. The Council must know, said, we must warn them. He sent a detailed report to Council headquarters, outlining everything they had discovered. The humans were powerful, technologically advanced, and battle-ready. They claimed peaceful intentions, but they had the capability to threaten the entire Council if they chose. The response came back quickly. High Chancellor acknowledged the report but disagreed with concerns. One ship is not a threat to the Council. We have thousands of vessels. Invite the humans to our headquarters. Let them see the might of galactic civilization. Let them understand they are small fish in a very large ocean. Read the message and felt his stomach turn. The Council did not understand. They thought in terms of numbers, of fleets and firepower. They did not see what he had seen. The humans were not impressed by size. They were prepared, focused, and absolutely confident. They had spent their entire history fighting for survival on a world that tried to kill them. They had learned to build tools that could overcome any obstacle. And now they had built tools that could reach the stars. Sent the invitation to Captain Hayes. The Valiant would accompany his fleet to Council headquarters. There, the journey to Council headquarters took 2 weeks. The Valiant followed Ambassador's escort fleet through established trade routes, passing through systems that had known peace for centuries. Captain Hayes and his crew observed everything with quiet interest. Mitchell spent her off-duty hours studying the alien civilizations they passed. Mining colonies, trading stations, research outposts, all of it peaceful, orderly, controlled. She reported her findings to Captain Hayes. Sir, I have noticed something interesting. The Council species seem to avoid high-gravity worlds. Most of their colonies are on planets with gravity below Earth normal. Hayes nodded. He had noticed the same thing. They evolved on easier worlds. They never needed to become as strong as we did. Science Officer Cross added her observations. Their technology is sophisticated but focused on efficiency and economy. They do not build redundant systems like we do. Their ships are lighter, faster, but more fragile. What about their military? Hayes asked. Brandon Cole had been analyzing that question since they left. Minimal, sir. I have seen patrol vessels and system defense platforms, but no dedicated warships like the Valiant. I think they have not fought a serious war in a very long time. Hayes considered this. A civilization at peace was admirable, but peace without strength could be dangerous. It invited predators. On the 10th day of the journey, the communications panel lit up with an emergency signal. Quickly identified the source. Distress call from a mining colony in the Theta sector. They are under attack. Hayes moved to his command chair. Details. Multiple hostile vessels. The colony is reporting heavy damage. They are requesting immediate assistance. Ambassador appeared on the main screen, his image transmitted from his ship. Captain Hayes, we have received the distress call. Unfortunately, we cannot help. Our escort fleet is too small to engage the attackers. Who is attacking them? Hayes asked. A warlord named. He commands 12 warships and terrorizes the outer colonies. Council military forces are 3 days away. By then, the colony will be destroyed. Hayes felt anger rising in his chest. 3 days. People were dying now, and the response was 3 days away. How far to the colony? Checked her console. 4 hours at maximum speed, sir. Hayes made his decision. Ambassador, we are going to help them. His face showed shock. Captain has 12 ships. Your vessel is alone. This would be suicide. We will manage, Ambassador. The Valiant was built for situations like this. I must advise against this action. The Council has protocols for such situations. Hayes stood. Ambassador, my protocols say that when innocents are dying and I have the power to help, I help. We will rejoin you after the colony is secure. He cut the transmission before could argue further. Navigation, set course for the colony, maximum speed. Weapons, bring all systems online. This is not a drill. The bridge crew moved with practiced efficiency. Brandon Cole's fingers flew across his weapons console, activating systems that had been dormant since they left Earth. Spencer brought the shield generators to full power. Tor's coordinated defensive systems. All weapons ready, Captain, Cole reported. Loaded, plasma lances charging, missile pods armed. Shields at maximum, Spencer added. All defensive systems operational. Hayes settled into his command chair. Take us in. Time to show the galaxy what humans can do. The Valiant accelerated hard, her powerful engines driving her toward the colony at speeds that would have torn apart most Council ships. The crew felt the pressure but ignored it. They had trained in higher gravity than this. Aboard his vessel, watched the human ship disappear into the distance. He immediately sent an emergency message to Council headquarters. The humans were engaging. This would either be the most heroic rescue in recent history or a tragic disaster. He ordered his fleet to follow, though they could not match the Valiant's speed. All he could do was watch and wait. 4 hours later, the Valiant dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Theta system. Sensors immediately detected the battle. The mining colony's defenses were failing. 12 pirate ships circled like predators, their weapons tearing into the colony's shields. Analysis, Hayes ordered. Cross worked quickly. Hostile vessels are modified cargo ships, armed with energy weapons and missile launchers. Their shields are standard commercial grade. The colony has maybe 10 minutes before total shield failure. Then we have 10 minutes to end this. Cole, target the 3 ships closest to the colony. Fire when ready. Yes, sir, firing. The Valiant spoke. Solid projectiles accelerated to tremendous velocity crossed the distance in seconds. The first pirate ship never knew what hit it. The round punched through its shields like they were not there, tore through the hull, and erupted out the other side. The ship broke apart, its reactor containment failing. The second and third ships fared no better. Within seconds of the Valiant's arrival, 3 pirate vessels were destroyed. Aboard the pirate flagship, Warlord stared at his displays in disbelief. What was that? Where did they come from? His sensor officer's voice shook. Unknown vessel, Lord, single ship. It just destroyed 3 of our vessels. One ship laughed. Focus all fire on it, destroy it. The remaining 9 pirate ships turned toward the Valiant and opened fire. Energy beams and missiles converged on the human battlecruiser. The Valiant's shields flared bright as they absorbed the barrage. Inside the ship, the crew barely felt the impact. Shields holding at 98%, Spencer reported calmly. Their weapons are ineffective. Hayes allowed himself a small smile. Return fire, plasma lances full spread. The Valiant's plasma lance arrays came to life. Superheated plasma bolts crossed space at near-light speed. 4 pirate ships tried to evade, but they were too slow. The plasma burned through their shields and hulls like paper. Explosions bloomed in the darkness. 8 down, Cole reported, 4 remaining. 2 of the remaining pirates tried to flee. Hayes shook his head. Missiles, do not let them escape to hurt someone else. Missile pods opened along the Valiant's hull. Dozens of missiles launched, their drives flaring bright as they accelerated toward the fleeing ships. Point defense lasers tried to shoot them down, but there were too many. The missiles impacted, and 2 more ships died. And 1 other ship remained. The warlord screamed orders at his crew, demanding they fight, but his crew had seen enough. They were pirates, not soldiers. They wanted to live. Lord, the other ship is surrendering, his officer reported. Cowards raised his weapon to shoot his own crew. A voice filled his bridge, speaking in perfect galactic standard. Warlord, this is Captain Daniel Hayes of the UHS Valiant. Your fleet is destroyed. Surrender now and you will be treated according to Council law. Continue fighting and I will destroy your ship. Lowered his weapon. He had ruled through fear for 10 years. He had never met anyone stronger than him. Now he had. We surrender, he whispered. The entire engagement had lasted 4 minutes and 17 seconds. 12 pirate ships engaged, 10 destroyed, 2 surrendered. The mining colony was saved. Hayes contacted the colony administrator. This is Captain Hayes. The threat has been neutralized. Are you in need of assistance? The administrator's voice cracked with emotion. Captain, you saved us. We were minutes from destruction. How can we ever thank you? No thanks necessary. We were nearby and able to help. That is enough. Hours later, fleet arrived to find the battle over. The pirate ships were either destroyed or captured. The Valiant floated peacefully near the colony, her crew helping with repairs. Sent his report to Council headquarters with shaking hands. A single human vessel had destroyed an entire pirate fleet in minutes. The implications were staggering. Hayes contacted him. Ambassador, we are ready to continue to Council headquarters whenever you are ready. Captain Hayes, what you did today will echo across the galaxy. You have shown strength beyond anything we expected. Hayes's expression was serious. We did what needed to be done, Ambassador, nothing more. Those people needed help and we could provide it. That is what strength is for, not conquest, not domination, protection. Understood then, the humans were not conquerors. They were guardians. They had evolved on a world that the Council station hung in space like a city among the stars. Thousands of ships docked there every day, representing every species in the galactic community. It was the heart of civilization, a symbol of unity and cooperation. The Valiant approached slowly, following the traffic patterns that Mitchell had downloaded from the station computers. Everywhere they looked, alien vessels moved about their business. Some were huge cargo ships, others were sleek personal craft. All of them stopped to watch the human battlecruiser pass. News of the battle at Theta Colony had spread fast. Every species in Council space had heard the story. A single human ship destroying 12 pirate vessels in 4 minutes. The media channels were filled with speculation and debate. Captain Hayes stood on the bridge watching the station grow larger. "Quite a sight," he said quietly. "Indeed, sir," agreed. "I am reading over 10,000 vessels in the immediate area. This station is larger than any city on Earth." Brandon Cole was less impressed. "I am also reading minimal defensive systems. A few weapon platforms, some patrol ships, nothing that could stop a serious attack." Hayes frowned. "They have lived in peace for too long. They have forgotten that peace requires strength to maintain." The docking bay assigned to them was large enough to accommodate the Valiant, though barely. As they settled into position, Hayes could see crowds gathering outside the bay windows. Everyone wanted to see the humans. "Prepare for departure," Hayes ordered. "Full dress uniforms, we represent Earth today. Let us make a good impression." The delegation consisted of Hayes, Mitchell, Brandon Cole, and Cross. They wore crisp navy blue uniforms with Earth's symbol on the shoulder. As they walked down the ramp, cameras from dozens of species recorded every step. Ambassador waited for them with a security escort. He looked tired and stressed. "Captain Hayes, welcome to Council Station. I must warn you, there is significant interest in your arrival." Hayes nodded. "We expected that. The battle created attention we did not seek, but we will not apologize for saving lives." "I would not ask you to. Come, the Council is waiting." They walked through corridors filled with aliens of every description. Some stared openly. Others whispered to companions. A few approached with recording devices, asking questions in languages the humans did not recognize. Security team kept them at a distance. The council chamber was enormous. Representatives from 47 species sat in tiered rows, each delegation in its designated area. At the center stood High Chancellor, his aged features showing wisdom earned over decades. "Captain Daniel Hayes of Earth," announced, his voice carrying through the chamber. "Welcome to the Galactic Council. You stand before representatives of 47 species spanning 12,000 star systems. We welcome you in peace and friendship." Hayes bowed his head respectfully. "High Chancellor, we thank you for this welcome. Earth and humanity come before you seeking friendship and cooperation. We offer our knowledge and strength to support the cause of peace." Murmurs spread through the chamber, raised a hand for silence. "We have many questions, Captain. Your vessel is unlike any in our records. Your technology appears advanced. And your recent actions at Theta Colony have raised concerns. Some fear your power, others seek alliance with it. We must understand who you are and what you want." Hayes had prepared for this. "We are explorers, High Chancellor. We seek knowledge, trade, and peaceful relations with all species. We build strong ships because the universe can be dangerous. We train our crews well because we value their lives. We helped at Theta Colony because innocent people were dying and we could stop it. These are our values. These are our intentions." A representative from the species stood. He was large, heavily armored, representing one of the Council's more aggressive members. "You claim peace, but you destroyed 12 ships in minutes. You carry weapons beyond anything we have seen. How do we know you will not turn those weapons on us?" Hayes met his gaze steadily. "You have only our word. We could tell you about Earth's history, how we unified after centuries of war. We could explain our laws and values, but words are cheap. Judge us by our actions. We saved a colony from pirates when we could have ignored them. We accepted your invitation to come here unarmed and vulnerable. We seek conversation, not conquest. Military coordinator stood next. Captain Hayes, I must ask directly, how many ships like the Valiant does Earth possess? The chamber went silent. Everyone wanted to know the answer. Hayes considered his response. Honesty was better than deception. Lies would be discovered eventually. I cannot give exact numbers for security reasons, but I can tell you this. The Valiant is not unique. Earth maintains a fleet capable of defending our space and fulfilling our exploration goals. How many pressed? 10, 20. Hayes pulled out a communication device. Perhaps a conversation with Earth Fleet Command would be appropriate. He activated the device. The main screen in the council chamber lit up. Admiral Palmer appeared, his image crystal clear despite the light years of distance. The chamber erupted in shock. Real-time communication across such distance was impossible with council technology. The best they could manage was messages taking hours or days to transmit. Captain Hayes, Palmer said formally, I see you have arrived at the council station safely. Yes, sir. Admiral Palmer, I am standing before the Galactic Council. They have questions about Earth's capabilities. I request permission to share basic fleet information. Palmer nodded. Permission granted. The council should understand who they are dealing with. Hayes turned to face the chamber. High Chancellor, members of the council, this is Admiral Palmer, commander of Earth Fleet. Perhaps he can answer your questions directly. Recovered his composure quickly. Admiral Palmer, we are honored. Your communication technology is impressive. Please tell us about Earth's fleet. Palmer's image showed a man who had spent his life in command. The Valiant is one of 40 battlecruisers in active service. We maintain 200 destroyers, 50 cruisers, and countless support vessels. Our fleet is designed for exploration and defense. We have no interest in conquest or expansion at the expense of others. The numbers hit the chamber like a physical blow. 40 battlecruisers, each one capable of destroying pirate fleets single-handedly. 200 destroyers. The Council's entire military force was smaller than Earth's exploration fleet. This is madness, someone shouted. One species should not have such power. Others joined in. The chamber descended into chaos. Some demanded Earth be restricted. Others wanted immediate alliance. Trade guilds saw opportunity. Military factions felt threatened. Called for order, but it took several minutes to restore calm. Captain Hayes, Admiral Palmer, you must understand our concern. Your species has arrived suddenly with military might exceeding our own. This creates fear and uncertainty. Hayes stepped forward. High Chancellor, we understand your concern, but consider this, we could have arrived as conquerors. We have the strength to take what we want. Instead, we came as friends. We saved lives at Theta Colony when we could have ignored them. We stand before you now, seeking dialogue and cooperation. Does this not prove our intentions? A new voice spoke. An elderly female representative from the species stood slowly. The human speaks truth. They had strength and chose mercy. They had advantage and chose respect. Perhaps we should judge them by their character, not our fear. Other voices agreed. The tide was turning. Made his decision. The Council will vote on Earth's status. I propose humanity be granted observer status immediately, with full membership to be considered after an assessment period. During this time, we will learn about each other. We will build trust through action, not just words. The vote was called. After heated debate, it passed. Earth would have a voice in council matters, though not yet a full vote. Hayes bowed again. We accept this honor and responsibility. Earth will prove worthy of your trust. As the session ended and the humans prepared to leave, dozens of species approached them. Some wanted trade agreements. Others sought protection like the had mentioned. A few offered research partnerships. Whispered to Hayes as they walked, Sir, I think we just changed the galaxy. Hayes nodded slowly. Yes, now we have to make sure it is a change for the better. 3 months had passed since humanity joined the Galactic Council as observers. Earth had wasted no time establishing its presence. A permanent embassy stood on the council station now, staffed by diplomats, scientists, and military advisors. Ambassador led the mission with skill and patience. The changes were visible everywhere. Human ships patrolled trade routes that had suffered pirate attacks for years. Crime dropped dramatically in sectors where the Valiant and her sister ships operated. No one wanted to face human weapons. But it was not just fear that drove the change. Human engineers shared knowledge about reactor design and shield technology. Human doctors worked alongside alien medical staff, finding new treatments through cooperation. Human scientists joined research projects, bringing fresh perspectives to old problems. Captain Daniel Hayes had been promoted to Fleet Admiral, overseeing Human Council cooperation. He split his time between the Council station and Earth, building bridges between two civilizations. Mitchell had taken command of the Valiant, proving herself as capable as Hayes had believed. The species had been the first to formally request human protection. Their worlds lay in contested space between Council territory and the aggressive Empire. For years they had lived in fear, unable to defend themselves effectively. The Valiant had been assigned as their guardian, took the responsibility seriously. She positioned her ship at the edge of space, her sensors sweeping constantly for threats. The threat came on a quiet Tuesday morning, measured in Earth time. 3 warships crossed into territory without warning. They destroyed a small mining outpost before anyone could react. 23 died in the attack. Received the distress call within minutes. Navigation set course for the outpost, maximum speed, weapons, battle stations. The crew moved instantly. They had drilled for this scenario dozens of times. Brandon Cole, now the Valiant's tactical officer, brought all systems online. Captain, I am reading 3 warships at the outpost location. They match the signatures of heavy cruisers. Understood. Charge weapons. Prepare to engage. The Valiant dropped out of faster-than-light travel directly between the ships and the colonies. Opened a communication channel. Vessels, this is Captain Mitchell of the UHS Valiant. You have violated space and attacked an unarmed outpost. Power down your weapons and prepare to be escorted out of this system. The response came from Commander Thrax, leader of the force. His face appeared on screen, reptilian features twisted in contempt. Human, you have no authority here. They are weak. Their space is ours for the taking. Leave now or be destroyed. Felt her jaw tighten. She had hoped diplomacy would work. Commander Thrax, I am giving you one chance. Withdraw peacefully or face the consequences. Thrax laughed. 3 ships against 1, the odds favor us. Attack. The warships opened fire simultaneously. Energy beams and missiles converged on the Valiant. Shields holding at 96%, the defensive officer reported. Their weapons are ineffective. Nodded. Return fire. Disable their weapons and engines. I want them alive to answer for their crimes. The Valiant's plasma lances fired with surgical precision. The first ship lost its weapon systems in seconds. The second tried to evade, but fire destroyed its engines, leaving it drifting. The third attempted to flee. Missiles ordered. Target their engine section only. The missiles impacted perfectly. The ship went dark, its power systems offline, but its crew alive. The entire engagement lasted 90 seconds. Open the channel again. Commander Thrax, your ships are disabled. You will remain in position until Council security forces arrive. Any attempt to escape will result in the destruction of your vessels. Do you understand? Thrax stared at her with hatred but nodded. We understand, human. Sent her report to Admiral Hayes and the Council. Another attack repelled, another lesson taught. The galaxy was learning that human protection meant something. The incident triggered an emergency council session. The Empire protested human aggression. The praised human defense. Other species watched carefully, wondering where they stood. High Chancellor called for testimony from all parties. Commander Thrax appeared via communication link, still aboard his disabled ship. The humans attacked without provocation, Thrax claimed. We were conducting a routine patrol when they assaulted us. Appeared next, her evidence clear. High Chancellor, I present sensor logs showing the attack on the mining outpost. 23 died before we arrived. The ships fired on the Valiant first. We responded with minimal force, disabling rather than destroying their vessels. All crew members survived. The evidence was undeniable. The Council ruled against the Empire, imposing sanctions and demanding reparations to the families who lost loved ones. The decision sent shockwaves through Council space. For the first time in decades, an aggressive species had faced real consequences. They had tested human resolve and found it unbreakable. More species approached Earth seeking partnerships. Not just military protection, but cultural exchange, trade agreements, scientific cooperation. Humanity's strength attracted attention, but their restraint earned respect. 6 months after first contact, the Council called another vote. This time, the question was full membership for humanity. Ambassador stood before the assembly. He was a silver-haired man with a calm demeanor and sharp mind. He had spent months building relationships, learning about council politics, proving Earth's commitment to cooperation. Members of the Council, he began. Earth seeks full membership not because we demand it, but because we have earned it. We have protected the weak. We have shared our knowledge. We have proven our commitment to peace while demonstrating our capability for defense. We ask only for equal standing among the species gathered here. The debate lasted hours. Some species still feared human power. Others recognized that power used responsibly was an asset to everyone. The representative spoke passionately. Humanity saved my people. They could have demanded payment or tribute. Instead, they asked only for friendship. They are protectors, not conquerors. I vote for their membership. Others echoed similar sentiments. Species that had suffered pirate attacks spoke of safer trade routes. Scientists spoke of collaborative breakthroughs. Even some who had been skeptical admitted that humanity had proven their good intentions. The final vote was not unanimous, but it was clear. Earth was granted full council membership. Admiral Hayes watched the vote from Earth's embassy. When the result was announced, he felt a weight lift from his shoulders. Humanity had been accepted. Joined him after the session. Admiral, we did it. Earth has a voice in galactic affairs now. Hayes nodded. Yes, now the real work begins. We have to make sure we use that voice wisely. Over the following year, the changes continued. Human shipyards built vessels for council species who wanted to upgrade their defenses. Human engineers helped design space stations that could withstand attacks. Human medical knowledge saved lives across dozens species. But humanity also learned. Alien mathematics opened new possibilities in physics. Exotic materials from distant worlds improved Earth technology. Cultural exchanges enriched both human and alien societies. The Valiant, under's command, became a symbol of the new era. She patrolled the frontier, protected the weak, and demonstrated that strength could serve peace. 5 years after first contact, Admiral Hayes stood on the bridge of the UHS Guardian, Earth's new flagship. He looked out at the fleet assembled around him. Human ships and alien vessels flying in formation, protecting Council space from threats. Admiral Palmer appeared on the communication screen. Despite being back on Earth, he kept close watch on developments. Congratulations, Admiral Hayes. The joint fleet is impressive. Hayes smiled. Thank you, sir. It has been a long road, but we have built something good here. Any regrets about that first contact? About revealing ourselves to the galaxy? Hayes considered the question. The galaxy had changed dramatically since the Valiant first appeared in Council space. Wars had ended. Trade flourished. Species that had been enemies for centuries now worked together, and Earth stood at the center of it all, not as rulers but as partners. No regrets, sir. This is what we hoped for when we built the Valiant, a place among the stars, friends to stand with, a better future for everyone. Palmer nodded. The history books will remember this era well, the time when humanity arrived and changed everything. The communication ended. Hayes turned back to the viewport. In the distance, he could see Earth, the blue marble that had given birth to a species strong enough to reach the stars and wise enough to use that strength for good. His voice came through on his personal channel. Admiral, the patrol routes are set. The galaxy is quiet today. Good work, Captain. Keep it that way. Hayes thought about the journey. From that first detection by Commander to full Council membership. From fear and uncertainty to cooperation and friendship. The galaxy had fallen into stunned silence when the Valiant first appeared. Now it sang with the voices of species working together, building a future where strength protected rather than threatened, where power served peace, and where one species from a small blue world had shown the galaxy that humanity had finally come home to the stars. The age of isolation had ended. The age of cooperation had begun. And somewhere in the darkness between stars, other species watched and wondered if they too might find a place in this new galactic community. The answer, Hayes knew, would always be yes, because that was what humanity had learned in its long journey to the stars. There was room for everyone, there was hope for all, and there was strength in unity that no force in the galaxy could break. The Valiant and her sister ships would make sure of it. Ambassador approached them one final time. Captain, you handled that well, but know that there will be challenges ahead. Not everyone welcomes change. We are prepared for that, Ambassador. We did not come this far to turn back at the first difficulty. As they returned to the Valiant, Hayes looked out at the thousands of ships surrounding the station. Earth was no longer alone in the universe. Humanity had taken its place among the stars. Now they had to prove they deserved to be there. Eid to kill them, and they had learned to protect the weak because they remembered being weak themselves. The galaxy was about to meet a species unlike any other, and suspected everything was about to change. The humans would be formally introduced to galactic civilization. As he watched the massive battlecruiser fall into formation with his small escort fleet, whispered a prayer to his ancestors. He hoped the Council knew what they were doing. He hoped the galaxy was ready for humanity. Because ready or not, humanity had arrived. 1 hour until they dock, reported. Hayes nodded. In 1 hour, humanity would take its first step onto the galactic stage. He intended to make sure it was a step the galaxy would remember.